following program is sponsored by Michael W. Smith. The views expressed on the following program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership.
Arizona, America. Brother Mike is back on the radio. Welcome to HardcoreChristianity.com. Welcome to the radio program. Today's Bible study, Peace and Safety, is coming our way. Hey, will you call somebody and tell them the radio program's on? I'll make some announcements while you make that call. Thanks for your help for the ministry. This is Brother Mike. I am the professional counselor at the Arizona Deliverance Center in Central Phoenix. We're on 15th Avenue, just south of Osborne Road. HardcoreChristianity.com is the website. If you notice there, Sister Karen is on the front page of the website. She'd be happy to list your house for sale. My daughter, Tara Smith, is also on the homepage of the website. She is a licensed therapist in the great state of Arizona. And on the website, you'll notice we have 2 live services every week, Thursday and Friday nights at 7 o'clock. We did not close down for COVID. We didn't cancel any services or counseling appointments since February of 2020. Both those services are broadcast on our teaching channel, youtube.com/House of Healing AZ. Okay? On that YouTube teaching channel, you'll see some of the nastiest teachings anywhere in Christianity in the United States. And by the grace of God, YouTube has not caught us. So they have so far left us alone. We're hanging in there, folks. You never know. Every day that goes by, you never know what's going to happen. Thank you for your support. The PayPal button is on the website for you to send in another donation. I've been on the radio 18 years in the great state of Arizona. I'm also on darkskyradio.com. Thank you for all of our listeners on internet radio. May God richly bless you. Peace and safety. It's coming to a world near you. Folks, back in the 70s and 80s, nobody could have ever dreamed that the world was going to come to an end so quickly. The rapture is only a few years away now. And the Bible prophecies are stacking up one after the other right in front of our eyes. 30, 40 years ago, nobody could have ever imagined any of this was going to happen. It's quite amazing. The Trump administration currently has brokered peace deals with Israel and Saudi Arabia, Sudan, and Bahrain. Bahrain has also recently denounced Hezbollah, believe it or not, and Guatemala and Estonia has also denounced Hezbollah, which is quite remarkable. Supposedly, and I don't know this for a fact, but it wouldn't surprise me, the Trump administration supposedly has 5 other countries getting close to signing a peace deal with Israel. And of course, this is all part of Bible prophecy. Please go back with me. You know the story of Daniel's 70th week, the prophecies of the rapture and the tribulation and the Antichrist and so on. That's in Daniel chapter 7, followed up by Revelation chapter 13 and Revelation chapter 17. To make a long story short, the Antichrist comes from the Middle East, probably from the Syria area, and he takes over 10 countries or 10 kingdoms within the old Roman Empire, according to Daniel chapter 7. And that's done during the first 3.5 years of the 7-year tribulation. The second half of the tribulation, the last 3.5 years, the Antichrist conquers the countries north and east of Israel. That's probably Russia and China and some of the other countries in Europe. And he takes over. And what happens is the Middle East countries, the Arab countries, the Muslim countries, all make a decision, Daniel chapter 11, that the world would be a lot better off without Israel, and there wouldn't be any more wars. And if you throw in Zechariah chapter 14, all of the nations marshaled by the Antichrist and the false prophet coagulate, so to speak, together, and they attack Israel. And everyone abandons Israel at that time. America is not around to save Israel. We will also, at some point in the future, abandon them. Or we would be too weak to do anything about it, which is the probability if the Democrat political party has any say in it. America will be weakened and destroyed economically with this party, and we won't be able to help Israel. In the Bible, when Israel is evacuated, and that prophecy is mentioned in Zechariah 14, Joel 3, and Revelation chapter 19, America is not there to help Israel. We are not there to save them. So something's happened to America, because right now, America and the Trump administration is Israel's very best friend. The Trump administration at this time is very pro-Israel. What happens in these chapters in the Bible is that Israel is abandoned, and the Antichrist moves on the country, and when it's halfway evacuated and half of Israel is destroyed, that triggers the second coming of Christ. The second coming of Jesus Christ is at the end of the second half of the tribulation. Take a look at Revelation chapter 19, let's say around verse 11 or so, and then go through chapter 20 to around verses maybe 10 or 11. And the second coming, or the second advent, or the parousia, is the return of Christ to the planet Earth, and that's when he takes over the planet in process, using you as a born-again, overcoming Christian. You are part of the administration of the kingdom of God during that period, and the millennial lasts 1,000 years, where the devil is thrown in the lake of fire, where the false prophet and the Antichrist are. Those two are killed at Armageddon. And if you're interested in all these things, and you're interested in reading about it, check out Isaiah 2, 13, 34, 61, and chapter 63. And check out Jeremiah chapter 46, Ezekiel chapter 30. And then you hit Daniel chapter 2 and chapter 7. Amos chapter 5, Joel chapter 2. Zephaniah chapter 1. Zechariah chapter 14, Malachi chapter 4. And then you get into the New Testament where Jesus speaks about these things specifically. Matthew chapter 24 and 25. 1 Thessalonians 5 and 2 Thessalonians chapter 1 and chapter 2. And of course there's a famous verse about the Lord returning with 10,000 of his saints that Jude quoted out of the book of Enoch. That's Jude chapter 1 verse 14. And then if you go on to get details about what's actually happening during that period, you'd look at Revelation chapter 19 and Revelation chapter 20, which also has the judgment, the great white throne judgment of Yahweh or Jehovah, which is the end of the people that are in hell. There's a transition that occurs. Everyone who died and went to hell then transitions into the lake of fire, or the Greek word is Gehenna. We usually pronounce it Gehenna. And that's when all the demons and all the fallen angels and Satan, the false prophet, the Antichrist, all the sinners, all the born-again Christians who lost their salvation through apostasy, all of them are unfortunately thrown into the lake of fire. Unfortunately, meaning the people. The rest of that, it's not unfortunate. In 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, you can get a flavor of it. It says, Paul says, of the times and seasons, brethren, you have no need I write to you, for yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord comes as a thief in the night. That's the return of Christ that's entered, which is the beginning of the millennium and the salvation of the nation of Israel. Verse 3, when they shall say peace and safety, safety there in Greek is an interesting word. Aphilia is a Greek word. It means security. Peace and security. When they say that, sudden destruction will come upon them. And right now, this peace and security thing is already starting. So you know we're only a few years away from the tribulation here, because this peace and safety concept predicted in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 is already starting to happen. It hasn't been completed or fulfilled yet. Of course, that doesn't come until the tribulation actually starts, which we're not in. And Paul says, after they say peace and security, sudden destruction will come upon them as travail upon a woman with a child. They will not escape. You, brethren, are not in darkness, that day should overtake you like a thief. Jesus warns all born-again Christians that they can miss the rapture if they are not overcoming Christians. Remember, there's a difference between being a Christian and a disciple. There's a difference between being a Christian and an overcoming Christian. In Revelation chapter 2 and 3, Jesus spoke 8 times about overcoming when he was talking about the church receiving benefits in eternity. You have to be an overcomer. You cannot be a lukewarm carnal Christian and go in the rapture. Luke chapter 21, verse 34, take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your heart should be overcharged with surfeiting, drunkenness, and the cares of this life, so that day comes upon you unaware. For as a snare it shall come upon all them that dwell on the face of the earth. That's the rapture. Watch and pray always that you may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass and to stand before the Son of Man. He's talking about the tribulation. To be accounted worthy is the Greek word kataxiao. It means to be entirely deserving. Translation, Revelation 2 and 3, you must be an overcoming Christian. If you are not, if you are lukewarm, if you are a carnal Christian, you will not go in the rapture. If you want to change that, please come in for prayer and counseling. It's free if you're born-again Christian, 602-636-5800. When they shall say peace and safety, sudden destruction shall come upon them.
The views expressed on this program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership. This program was sponsored by Michael W. Smith.